Hi guys, welcome to another vlog. So recently I went to China for a trip and I couldn't help but make this video. I put down a list of things that Chinese people do which blew my mind and certain things which I could tell you to do when you're planning a trip to China, especially if you're traveling alone. It's the first time I'm just going to talk freely and not structure down what I have to say. But at the same time, I think sometimes letting your thoughts naturally flow is better than scripting it down. Although I've made a list of what all I wanted to say because I didn't want to miss out on anything. Firstly, I want to tell you, हमको पता नहीं क्यों why we are made to believe that it's a country which provides super cheap goods and it's very cheap in all possible ways. I don't know why we're made to believe that China is not the best experience you can get. I kid you not, I've been to a lot of European countries. I've been to a few Asian countries, and although every country has its unique speciality, uniqueness, मुझे पता नहीं क्यों चाइना जाते वक्त इतना डर लग रहा था. I thought I'll get scammed. I thought I'll have to face racism. And I don't know why. I have no reason why I had these preconceived notions. To my surprise, I just want to start this video by stating one. I got my trolley bag over there, and there was not even one single point of time where I had to pick up my trolley bag. The city is so well planned. I went to Shenzhen, I went to Guangzhou, I went to one couple of cities around. I remember that somebody wise told me once that you can tell how developed a country is by looking at their roads. Because roads is fundamental to every single business. And if a country is doing great business, only then its economy rises. And I am a testimony of how good the infra is in China. Number one, I'm going to be attaching a picture, but I have no idea why Chinese people sit like that. I am somebody who don't like standing for long, so I used to sit like this over here. But China में कोई भी इंसान कहीं पे भी बैठ जाता है, and it is funny to see. And then later on you realize that is how the norm is at metro stations, shopping plazas, outside restaurants, in 7-Eleven, everywhere I went, I could easily spot people who were sitting like this. And you know what? You and I started doing so. Number two, I don't know what it is, but I saw so many uncles putting up their banyan on their chest. Stomach was visibly out. It is apparently called something I saw on internet. It was very funny, but of course I couldn't do it myself. But yeah, and I think it is to beat the heat, but I didn't understand the scientific logic to it, which is still fine. Number three, if you have survived Mumbai's metro or local game, China is nothing for you. It is so well planned. I mean, and it is only one of the few places जहाँ पे English translation में भी चीज़ें लिखी भी होती है. So if you just have a map, and if you could just have basic sense of direction, you can travel freely with an unlimited pass, which I think got made for 800 rupees. So you just navigate it through. But if you have survived Mumbai Metro, this is halwa for you. And then I saw the fashion game is really on. You'll see women in pastel beautiful colors. Metro is a great place to observe people. Either women were very subtly dressed, or they were dressed like an anime character. And either people dress up too extra or too simple in China. Women wear simpler clothes, they wear pastel colors and flowy colors and easy dresses, which I think made sense because at that time China was very hot and wearing dark colors would make you absorb more heat. So I think that's the reason. Also, they wear a lot of linen and cotton, of course, to beat the heat, but their fashion game was really beautiful. Another thing, by the third day of China, I realized I've not seen a single obese person, or even to say anybody who's remotely overweight. And I couldn't figure out why. On the fourth day, I made a point to try to notice if I am able to find anybody. And maybe I thought it's a matter of coincidence because the fifth and the sixth day, I happened to spot one or two people. But then I sat down and I gave it a thought. And you know what? There could be an actual reason to it. Anywhere apart from India that I've traveled for work or for pleasure, I've realized that people tend to walk a lot. And in China, it's taken way too seriously because the infra is so walk friendly and cycling friendly that people end up opting that. And I also saw people who were, I don't know, possibly at the age of 80, 70, who are actively working. So fitness is actually not an extracurricular for them. It is a part of their life, which I thought was very interesting. And I also saw one more thing, that people really don't cook a lot. All the restaurants in China always have customer inside, no matter it's small or big, or but all the restaurants are busy and people generally end up taking eating breakfast and then going to their workplace, or वापस आते वक्त they just grab something and go home and eat. And I think it's because they probably don't enjoy cooking, or maybe they're so foodie that they want to try new food every single. And then whoever told you that China is cheap, it's actually not cheap. Only when it comes to business, these guys have rocked manufacturing. But apart from that, I don't remember saying, oh my god, China is so cheap. The food is like, if you go to a restaurant, you'll end up spending 300, 400 INR, which is the same in India. The cabs were pretty cheap, and if the shopping was extremely cheap, but the hotel bookings, the transport, everything was, I think, as cheap as India, only it was very hygienic. So now that I think of it, when I say it is actually value for money. All the services are decently priced and value for money. That's why probably people say that it's cheap. In China, people drink a lot. And I don't mean this. I mean they drink for hydration. You would see people having something to drink at all times. And this is something that I even saw in Bangkok. But I don't know, even we are a very hot country. Actually, we're closer to the equator, so all seasons are there. But it'll not be fair to say that we don't equally experience extreme heat. But we end up drinking. But we end up drinking chai, and people there have watermelon slushy, and I had this big of a mug. And every single day, I would have like 3 to 4 liters of hydration in different forms. People drink a lot of coffee, a lot of peach iced teas, a lot of juices, a lot of boba tea, a lot of whatnot. And I want to come to metro again and point one more thing. People do not fight for seats. There's harmony. In extremely flooded metro, I could still spot empty seats, which you'll never see here. In the middle of my trip, I had to buy a translator because the communication gap is immense and I had to talk to a lot of Chinese people. But I observed one thing, that while talking to somebody who's not Chinese or speaking in Chinese, they tend to say, okay, no problem, a lot. Which I think is cute. China has a lot of traffic. I remember being stuck in the jam for an hour, and I think the distance wasn't even much. And at that point, I realized, oh my god, the city needs help. But you will not hear honking the way you hear it here. People don't honk. And China is very safe. As somebody who traveled alone, I can't even imagine doing the same things in other parts of the world. I was out on the streets at 11, at 12 also, not been followed, not been looked at in a way that is scary. I have not been mistreated even a single time, made comments at. And I just want to say, as a woman, I felt extremely, extremely safe in China. And I think when such things happen, you tend to feel even more encouraged to do solo trips, whether it's for pleasure or business. And I think safety is very important part of our lives, and whichever country makes us feel that, you inherently feel a little more drawn towards that place, right? And contrary to what I have made to feel, Chinese people are not desperate to sell. During negotiations and bargaining, even at personal shopping or business work, they tend to make simple, assertive bargains. When you say 100, they say 200, and then you say no 120, and then they say 180, and then you say 150, and then they say no 180 last. No. And they're very assertive. And I was made to believe that because there's so much competition within China, they would keep on decreasing and won't let the customer go, but they will let you go. Or at least in my experience, their bargaining has limits, which I think is also nice because you don't get exploited. And then if everybody does the same, so you end up selling at a fair price. But it was interesting to me because I went with the mindset that I could really, really, bargain them hard. Okay, you can't take it away from them. Chinese people talk very loudly. They're extremely loud people. But I think that's lively. And in particularly Shenzhen, they had these stands where there was power bank, and if your phone dies, you can just put some coins in it and charge your phone, which was a revolution for me. Everybody has an EV scooter which is not loud, doesn't emit pollution, is safe, it has a speed limit. That is all. I think I don't intend to put any comparisons or put the country at pedestal, but I think I, as a tourist, felt extremely, extremely impressed, felt extremely safe, and was very impressed with China. And I think, given another opportunity, I would make a few more trips to China because I haven't really done any touristy thing, and I think that country has beautiful villages to offer, beautiful monuments, and absolutely amazing technology to be blown away with. So, yeah, see you next time in China. Bye, take care.